Welcome back, Shalligators. Well, you know what? I was thinking today that it's time we do a new challenge. Now, if you're new here, a challenge is a Shallon challenge where I challenge you and me, because I do it right along with you, for some sort of self-improvement. And we've done visualization, we've done cutting back on drinking, we've done healthy diet, like a revamp of our nutrition, we've done cultivating positive spirals, which is really difficult. You guys can check out the full playlist of past challenges and join along. But today, we're going to have a challenge called the I Don't Want To Challenge. It's a little bit different than stuff we've normally done, but it's also going to tie in with our new Shalliterature book club selection. I'm going to explain it all and break it down. But before we get started, I want to remind you guys to follow me on Instagram at ShallonXO. Also, connect with me on Cameo if you would like a video shout out, pep talk, birthday wish for a friend, anything like that. Go ahead and book me in the link below. Also, read my new blog, Eat, Pray, Love. It's a super raw and intimate journal for me as I go through, real life here in Montana and as a single chickadee and a chickadee is dating and an influencer, all of this stuff. So head on over to Eat, Pray, Love. It comes right to your inbox. So this challenge and the Shalliterature book club selection all centers around this book, Essentialism. This book has changed my life. I mean, I stumbled on it recently. I don't even know how. I think it was just recommended to me by audiobooks. I listen to audiobooks constantly because I drive a lot out here, and reading, I can't quiet my brain enough and carve out time in my day to sit and read, which Essentialism tells you to do. So I'm working on it. But this book is called Essentialism, the Disciplined Pursuit of Less. Have you ever found yourself stretched too thin? Do you simultaneously feel overworked and underutilized? Are you often busy but not productive? Do you feel like your time is constantly being hijacked by other people's agendas? Essentialism isn't about getting more done in less time. It's about getting only the right things done. Once we discern what is absolutely essential and eliminate everything else, can we make our highest possible contribution towards a thing that truly matters? This book has changed my business, it's changed my schedule, and most importantly, it's changed my interpersonal relationships. It's changed this mantra of, okay, yes, the people pleasing, the spending of currency, whether it's actual money on things I don't need or want, but moreover, it's about revamping how I spend my energy. And here we come to the challenge. The I Don't Want To challenge. I have been, when there's something hanging over your head and it's something relatively trivial, but you cannot stop chewing on it in your brain and it's bringing you so much dread. Usually it's doing something you don't want to do, right? And it's not usually sometimes it's an essay or a project or whatever, but more often it's going to some sort of social function, hanging out with someone you don't want to, a date with some Tinder dude you're dreading. And it's just for the amount that it's giving to your life, the amount that it's taking is completely disproportionate. And I found myself in this state recently. There's a friend who wanted to drive to Jackson Hole one day. Jackson Hole is 4 fucking hours away, okay? And she's like, it'll be so much fun and we can spend the night and have a little staycation. I'm like, that's not a staycation. I could fly to the Bahamas in 4 hours. And I have the bigger car, so I would be driving. And I'm like, okay, so I'm going to lose basically 2 days of work to do this, right? I'm going to drive, which I despise road trips. I fucking despise them. I am good for 2 hours, absolute tops. And then I'm like, I have to get out of here. I hate it. I will abandon my car and take a helicopter home. Never speak of my car again. Also, I didn't really want to be trapped in a car with this person or honestly any person for 4 hours. I can't talk that long. I don't want to listen for that long. It's extremely tiring and stressful to me. Also, she wears super, super strong perfume and it kind of makes me sick. And I'm just like, oh. And she knows my schedule. She knows my schedule's flexible. She knows I'm going to be in town. And I was chewing over excuse after excuse, basically lie after lie to get out of this. And they were becoming more fanciful and grandiose. I've got to go see about a moose in the place. I was coming up with bullshit. And then Then I read Essentialism, or I listened to it, and then I also picked up the book, because I like to do both. I like to listen to something like twice, if it's a nonfiction book that I really want to absorb, and then pick up the physical copy so I can like go through it, because there's so many standout things that kind of go in one ear and out the other. And it was about protecting your time, right? And in this book, Greg McKeown, I recommend you listen to it because he's British, and I just feel like the Brits, like their message like gets into our brain. We're like, thank you. You started our country. You know what you're talking about. He talks about setting criteria for business opportunities or even any kind of opportunity. So any opportunity that's presented to you, it needs to have 3 baseline minimums, right? But it also needs 3 maximums, 3 like big boxes it needs to check. So if you're considering something, it has to check all 3 of the base, but 2 of the 3 of the big ones. And I had to listen to this part over and over and over again. And I sat down with a piece of paper and I really brainstormed and sketched this out because I was like, I know that I need this. I know that I need this categorization system for things that come my way. When I do a house tour, and I will, I'm so sorry, I will. You'll see that I'm extremely organized. I am, because to be organized means you only have to make a decision once. I have labels like on my door, pants, lounge, athleisure, whatever, so that I no longer have to be like, where should the athleisure go? I know where it goes. It goes right there. I can see it. And I'd rather have a house full of labels than a house full of chaos, right? And I realized I didn't have that categorization system with other things in my life. With my business, opportunities would come to me and I'm like, I don't know, do I want to do an ad deal about lawnmowers? No. And that was like easy to see, but there were other things that were amorphous, like, hey, do you want to do this thing kind of for free, but maybe for publicity? It's like, no, do it? I don't know. I needed labels. I needed a categorization. So I sat down and made some. And I went to Staples and I printed them out on cardstock, and I'm getting frames and I'm framing them, and they're going to sit on my desk. And I made one for business and I made one for personal. So for business, the baseline, if an opportunity comes my way, whether it's an interview with someone, a brand opportunity, a video, whatever it is, right? The baseline it has to hit is I have the energy, I have the time, and it aligns with the brand values, right? I am very specific about what my brand is and what my brand values are. Basically, an easy way to translate that is, would you guys like it? You don't want to hear about fucking lawnmowers. So that was an easy no, right? Didn't hit all 3, no. Something else was, someone came to me and they're like, oh, I'd love to interview you for my podcast, which has like 4 listeners, and let's block off 2 hours of time. No, I don't have time for that, and I certainly don't have the energy. That was a no, okay? But the top tier makes me money. Like, I won't get into specifics because I think money, it's tacky to talk about money. Adds followers, builds the brand. Takes less than 30 minutes. Nothing I do in my career takes more than 30 minutes of pure concentration at a time. It doesn't. And that is by design. That's how I can have the octopus. I don't have things that are poorly weighted. My Eat, Pray, Love newsletter doesn't take 5 hours to write. I bang posts out real fast. I'm a professional writer, right? The podcast doesn't take me more than 30 minutes. Videos don't. Then the editing portion doesn't. If something takes more than that, it's either a bad return on investment, right? It's poor ROI, or I either don't like it or I'm not good at it. So it's non-essential. We cut that off and we shore up the tentacles of the business octopus that we do have. But what about the social opportunities, right? Because that's where the lines get blurred. That's where the borders get awful jelly. Well, I hate group birthday dinners, but it's her birthday. I've talked before about how much I fucking hate group dinners. I hate them. It's not because I hate my friends. It's not because I'm cheap. It's that I can't sit there. You know what? I don't need to explain it. I don't like them. And I've done decades of them. And I finally told all of my friends, I tell people in my life, I don't do big group long birthday dinners. I don't do 3-course plated dinners. They make me insane. I'll meet you after. I'll come for appetizers. I'll send a bottle of champagne to the table and then meet you at the bar. But those are my boundaries. And people are like, okay, bummer, but don't do something you hate to do. Like, I don't want you there if you don't like it. So I really, 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 really try to get granular about social opportunities, because if we're not, then We have no boundaries. And what do we say? Givers need boundaries because takers have none. Not that the people in our life are like takers and there's this bad dynamic, but people are going to ask you to do things and they're not going to know that you don't like it. They're not going to know or really care that you have the time or the energy or the money, whatever. Like, they want to go to Miami on a girls' weekend. So come. It's just, you'll figure out the money later. You'll figure out the time later. Just come, right? We hear that a lot. So my three baseline things any social opportunity has to meet. I have the energy. I have the time. It causes no anxiety. Causes no anxiety. No dread, no, I guess. Anything that comes to me, I should be fucking jazzed about. One thing he says in Essentialism is a phrase that I have said a million times. If it's not a hell yes, it's a hell no. I want every opportunity that comes to me to be like, hell yes, I want to do that. Fuck yeah, lawnmowers. Hell yeah, group dinners. If I don't feel that way, then it's like, I'm sorry, hell no, I'm not doing that. You don't have to be me. You don't say that, but it's like, no, it's just a hell no. And I'm going to find a polite way of turning it down. So again, the three baselines for me. I have energy. I have time. Causes no anxiety. The three tops of any social opportunity. It leaves me feeling uplifted. I don't feel drained. Wow, I sat here at dinner and listened to you monologue about your childhood trauma for 2 hours while I panic drank 6 vodka sodas. Now I'm drunk. I'm going to be hungover tomorrow. And this was fucking miserable. This was miserable for me, right? And you have the right to define drained and uplifted as any way you choose. I always say I'm a social sprinter, right? I'm here for a good time, not a long time. That's why I don't do the long group dinners. I don't want to be stuck talking to someone and making small talk. No, I don't do it. But I know that through trial and error, but also by being honest with myself about how I'm feeling in situations. So that's number one. I feel uplifted. I go around my friends. I feel good. I feel happy. That was so fun. Number two, it makes me healthier. This is a big one. You know, it's natural for us when we get together. Let's go get fucked up. I want a million bottomless mimosas. Or like, let's go on an eat-a-thon. Let's go eat something. It's like, I'm really trying so hard to be keto. And I know if we go to this Chinese buffet, I'm just going to go berserk. I'm going to feel so gross. It's going to knock me off my diet. Okay, then it doesn't check that box. Things have to leave me feeling healthier. And again, you can define healthy as an emotional, physical, whatever. And you don't have to use these. These are just mine. Number three, increased connectivity. This is important for me now. I'm the new kid in town. I want to make more friends. I want to go to new places. I want to feel like more part of the community. And if something doesn't make me feel that way, you know, I'm going to reevaluate it. That's not to say that, oh, I don't want to go to dinner with this friend if she's not going to bring 5 other friends. Like, it's not a social climbing thing. Connectivity can mean I feel more connected to you, my new best friend here in town. I feel connected to this group of girls. I feel connected to the town because, oh my gosh, this is where everyone goes for Taco Tuesday. Great. But again, someone who's like going to go and monologue about their childhood, well, like I never get a word in edgewise, I don't feel connected to anything. I feel distance. I feel drained. So things have to hit 5 of these 6 qualifications for me to do it. So I looked at this Jackson Hole opportunity and I said something that I've never said before. I don't want to. I literally wrote that text and sent it. And she was like, what do you mean? You don't want to do it that day? I said, no, I don't want to. And there was some pushback. What do you mean you don't want to what? You don't want to drive to Jackson Hole? I said, and this is the thing. This is it. You need to decide, do I not want to do this thing or do I not want to be around this person? And it was both. I didn't want either. And I realized that when she asked, like, do you just not want to drive to Jackson? And then I'm like, because my natural reaction was, I can't disappoint anyone. I can't let anyone down. So I'll say, we don't have to go to Jackson. Let's just go to Sage Lodge. You know, that's closer and we'll spend the night. And then I'm like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to go on vacation with her. She's great for a brunch, but that's it. We're done. And I didn't say exactly that, but I I said a version of that. I was like, I don't want to go to Jackson Hole, and I honestly just don't want to go away for the night. I have so much to do. I'm sorry to be a disappointment. I leaned into whatever I thought she was going to feel about me. Okay, I'm a big fucking disappointment. I'd rather disappoint someone else than disappoint myself, than disappoint you guys, my beautiful little shalligators, because hey, I couldn't get a video out. I was tired. I was hungover. I got stuck in the fucking snow in Jackson. I don't want to do that. The power of saying, I don't want to, is not a power society tells us we have. We have to come up with all these flamboyant excuses, a million different lies. We know the people who have kids, if you're like child-free, like me, not childless, child-free. A big gripe about parents is like, they blame everything on the kids, right? It's like, oh, so-and-so had a nightmare. I guess I have to go. And it's fucking enraging. And this happened the other night at a girls' night. Like one of our friends couldn't come because there's something with the child and like lacrosse practice or whatever. And we were like, if she didn't want to go, just say, hey, I'm tired. I just don't want to go. I kind of just want to veg out on the couch tonight. Great. Who can't understand that? But when it's this, oh, there's an emergency? Uh-oh, I have to go. It's like, it feels disrespectful. It's like, you don't respect me enough to just level with me and tell me the truth, something that I would very much understand. Well, we got to start doing that. We have to be the change in the world that we want to see. I'll never forget one of my besties, Pandora. Hi, Pandy, if you're watching me. This was like 5 years ago. Okay, so my friends and I, every year we go floating down the Delaware River, like when I lived in New York, and we'll do it again this year. But it's this weekend, we rent the same house. It's like this beautiful cabin kind of thing on the river. We float. It's a good like redneck weekend for us. As close to redneck as we could get. I loved it. It's one of my favorite weekends of the year. And one of the first years we were planning it, and it was like the second because we'd already done it. And I was like, Pandy, like you have to come. It's so fun. And she's like, I don't want to do that. And I was like, I was like, but it's so fun. She's like, I don't want to do that. I don't like to do that stuff. And I was like, thank you. Thank you. I had so much respect for her that it wasn't like, well, I'll check my schedule. Can I let you know? Maybes are annoying, right? Because there were people on the trip who were doing it. Well, there might be a wedding that pops up like 2 hours before. I'm kind of holding every weekend that year for potential funerals. Makes you crazy. It's so insulting. It's like, if you don't want to go, just say it. I don't care. And Pandora said it, and I was like, thanks. Okay. Great. Because I didn't take it personally. It's like, yeah, if you know her, it's like, of course she doesn't want to go like float down a river. It's just not her vibe. Cool. And I just respected her so much. So in this, my new era of I don't want to, that's what I'm saying. My other friend, she keeps asking me to go on sunrise hikes. I was like, I don't want to. She's like, why? It'll be so pretty. I was like, listen, I can Google a sunrise. I hate sunrises. Means if I need 9 to 10 hours of sleep a day. I do. Sleep is my absolute priority. I never set alarms. I go to bed early because if I am tired, nothing in my life works. I'm not one of those people who can power through fatigue. God bless new moms who can. I'm just not one of them. And I know that about myself. I know that that's my limit. Okay. And I plan accordingly. I'm like, if I got up at 5 to go on this sunrise hike, first of all, I don't even like hiking. You're always looking at your feet. You're like, okay, yeah, this is a tree. Keep going. I'm like, if I got up that early, the rest of my day would be fucked. That's a lost day. I would try to power through it, have 3 cups of coffee, feel like I could see through time, have to take a nap anyway. Like the day would just be shot. I don't want to do it. And it's disappointing to her. I'm sorry, Allie, but I don't. But I appreciate that she asked me, but I hope that she appreciates just my honesty of like, no, that's not for me. I'll meet you for breakfast. I'll go on a sunset hike, which seems actually pretty dangerous in the woods in Montana, but it's a compromise because I do want to see her, but I don't want to do that thing, right? And you can tell people this. I want to see you, but I don't want to do that thing. But what if it's not that? What if it's, I don't want to do that thing. I don't want to do anything with her or him or them. Protect your peace. Protect your peace. Because I guarantee you, when you think about think back about all the times you have done something you just like didn't want. You went to that party when you were tired. You went on that Tinder date. It's like, he's not my type. He saw a picture with him without a hat. He's bald as fuck. I just don't want to go. He's got weird teeth. How did you feel after? Very, very rarely were you like, okay, fine, I'm glad I went. Maybe you were. Great. So the lesson there is really examine the return on investment, right? More often than not, though, it was probably like you walk through the door of the bar and there's a Tinder date. You're like, great. Okay, so it's going to be an hour and a half of my life that I can't get back. Waste of makeup, waste an outfit. I'm exhausted. Rather be home watching Teenage Bounty Hunters. I'm going to panic drink 3 vodka sodas again, like I do, and have now a guy in my inbox messaging me wanting to go out again. So the problem I thought I was avoiding, which is being honest and saying, I just don't want to do this, I still have to do. I still have to do that at some point. Only it's also cost me time, money, alcohol, calories, blah, 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 blah. Wouldn't it be easier to just cut to the chase? To be an essentialist communicator? Please pick up this book. It is unbelievable. It's unbelievable. And it just gives you really good tips on how to prioritize things, like how to learn to prioritize. Let's talk about the word priorities, because this is something he talks about in the book. The word priority appeared first around like the year 1400. For 500 years, until 1900, it was singular. Priority. Uno. Around 1900, coinciding with the Industrial Revolution, it became priorities. Priorities. Suddenly, we had to do all the things. Another point he makes is that we can all multitask, right? We can cook dinner and tweet and blah, blah, blah. We can drive and listen to music, whatever. We can multitask. We can do many things at once. We cannot focus on many things at once. We can focus on one thing. And when we try to split our focus, we end up being bad at everything. Texting and driving. Cooking and doing the dishes at the same time. Something's burning, something's overflowing, the water's splashing everywhere, right? When you think about it, no, you can't do everything at once. You can do anything, but not everything. And that is the way of the essentialist. And this is something that has, like I said, completely reoriented my life, given me like a language and a vocabulary for the boundaries that I needed to set, taken me to Staples. And it's given me, now I have a filing system for things that come into my life, whether it's people or jobs or emails or interviews or whatever. I have a rubric, and this sort of externalizes it, right? So it's like, oh, it's not me, it's the paper. It's the paper from Staples saying this. Oh, you can't do it, Shallon. It doesn't meet all the criteria. Oh God, did you hear that? Oh, it's the paper, it's a staple paper. Whoa, so sorry, can't do that hike, can't promote those lawnmowers. Sorry about it. It takes out the personalization. And you know what? Tell people in your life. Part of the reason I'm telling you guys this is like, hey, if you're a business opportunity, you sell lawnmowers, like maybe we're not a great fit. Tell people. I've told all my friends, I was like, look, this is my new rubric. And they're like, no one was mad. Everyone was like, that's what I need. Like, I know we all need it. We all need it. So make this a priority. Priority, singular. Make this the priority. Coming up with your boundaries, picking up this book. You can get it in the link right down there. And tell me if you want to embark on this I don't want to challenge with me. Try it doing it once every few days. And then see what bubbles up. Are you chronically being inundated with things you don't want to do, right? Is it like the sunrise hikes? Or is it people? And if you really have to step back and categorize something as like, do I want to or do I not? Do you have a bunch of people in your life you're like, I actually don't enjoy half of these people? I've reached that conclusion. And part of it, if I'm being honest, it's like when I moved here, I was like making all the friends. You know, it's like you want to make all the friends, see who kind of sticks, you know, who you jive with and who becomes a bestie, and who's like, we don't actually mesh that well. You know, once you get your footing comfortable socially, or this is me, then it's like, okay, I'm able to step back and look at certain interactions. Like, I'm not like desperate for friends anymore. I'm fine being alone. My schedule is hectic. So it's like, no, actually, this person, this opportunity doesn't bring stuff into my life that I want. I would actually prefer to spend that time alone because I like being alone. I like my real estate, literal and emotional. And having this rubric helps me figure that out. So join me in this challenge. Join me in Essentialism. We're going to give this a few weeks. Listen to it, read it, tell me everything that you think. Also head over to the Shallagator Reddit thread. They are going to be discussing it there. It's a great place to connect and collab. Nicole and Ashley do a great job moderating. So I will see you later, Shallagators. Stay essential.